Hi, this is Gabe with the RideShare Guy, and today I am driving a 2021 Polestar 2, and I am using it for Uber and Lyft. That's what I do in my reviews because this is the RideShare Guy, and you want to know how your car is to drive while you're working. So this is a really special car, and I'm going to tell you why. Let's get something out of the way. I love this car, and I am a Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive owner. It's a brand new car. I like that car a lot, but this car has a much better driving experience. The first thing I love about this car is it hauls ass. It is super fast. It is the dual motor version. It's not the performance version, which is another $5,000 or $6,000. But the dual motor on this car is good enough. It is giving you like way over 300 horsepower, something like 400 foot-pounds of torque. It is a beast, and it is a beast at every speed. You get it up over 100 miles an hour and you floor it, it will pull all the way to its top speed, hard, like a race car, like a racing motorcycle, never mind car. Also, it handles. The handling on this car is really, really good. It's heavy. You feel like it's a heavy car, you know it's a heavy car, but you don't care because they did a really good job with suspension. Any Tesla fanboy tells you, oh, well, you know, the Model 3 has to have a stiff suspension because battery and blah, 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 blah. He is full of crap, or she is full of crap. Oh, this car is so much fun. It hauls ass. It handles great, especially in big sweeping turns. And it's quiet. I am going miles per hour right now, and I can't hear any road noise. It's just so nice and quiet. I think there's active noise cancellation in here rather than piping in fake engine sounds like some EVs do. I don't know if you can hear it, but when you floor it in unbridled, it makes a sound. This is a car that lets you know you're in a fancy car. Woo! First thing people ask me when they get into this car is, what's Polestar? Who makes Polestar? What's that all about? I don't understand. Like, sometimes they're even hostile. What is Polestar? Like, they're so angry that there's a brand they haven't heard of and they're sitting in it. Polestar was spun off from the Volvo brand, and Volvo is in turn owned by Geely, which is a Chinese manufacturer. So these cars are made in China, and making this the first Chinese-made car I've ever tested, or driven for that matter. And I'm very impressed. The Chinese can make good stuff when you pay them enough to make good stuff. Your iPhone, whatever device you're watching this on, it was made in China and it works fine, right? So there you go. And although most of the design cues are distinctively Volvo, distinctively Scandinavian, because all the design and engineering work is still done in Gothenburg in Sweden. But even though it's very obviously a Swedish designed car, it's still very Volvo in a lot of ways. However, I wouldn't say it drives like a Volvo, and that's probably what counts the most. So you've got Volvo quality and Volvo safety and Volvo attention to detail without Volvo, you're 60 years old and falling asleep while you're driving. Okay, one thing this car does great is U-turns. A lot, even though it's about the same length as the Tesla Model 3, oh boy, is its turn radius a lot tighter. Let's talk about range and charging. Most disappointing thing about this car, the range. Now, most of that is because it's all-wheel drive. All-wheel drive means you're going to be using twice as much energy, pretty much. And although this car is really fun to drive because it accelerates like a gunshot, it does soak up a lot of juice and does not return the efficiency that a Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive like I have does. So even though its stated range, I think, is 220 miles for the standard range all-wheel drive, in actual use, you're looking more at under 200, well under 200. And if you follow the manufacturer's recommendation and only charge the battery to 90%, functionally, you only have about 180 miles-ish of range. And that's if outside conditions are good and you don't drive like this. As far as charging goes, it's not the same fantastic, seamless experience that you're going to have with a Tesla. There is, on the Google Maps app that appears on the nice big screen here in front of me, you do have the charging stations. All the different charging networks are represented there, and so it's easy to find one and easy to drive to. All right, let's talk about one place where this car, it's probably about time with the Tesla finish. Now the car feels solid, and the doors open and shut with a nice clunk. But some of the interior, can you hear that? I mean, I feel like Tito Puente here. It's fake wood on the dash, and it just feels thin. You can hear the echo, and it just feels kind of thin, but it does fit together very nicely, and the ergonomics are very nice. I don't know if I'm a fan of this center console. It's kind of big. Like, this is an electric car. Look at how Kia and Hyundai designed their latest generation of electric cars and how much more interior room there is, and without this need for giant transmission humps and giant consoles. Like, there's nothing under here. So I don't know what they were thinking for that. So this is a nice car to drive, we know that, and we know passengers like it a lot as well. One thing that passengers appreciate, and I, as a driver, really appreciate, is the fact that the door handles are self-explanatory. You just grab them and pull them, and the door opens. Oh my God, it's a miracle. I don't know why some automotive manufacturers feel like the door handle needed to be completely reinvented. It just makes no sense. So kudos Polestar for having actual door handles. Driving this car around town is a breeze. It really does everything the way a normal car does things. It's just very nicely tuned and set up to feel like a gasoline-powered car, except a very smooth and responsive one. The display, though, is really nice looking. The design is very cool and clean and Scandinavian, might I say. I also liked how the GPS, the mapping, is mirrored on the driver's display right in front of the steering wheel, so you could really drive without distractions if you need to. I also appreciated the responsiveness and the graphics quality of the display. It looks very, very good. And in all, it's fairly logical and easy to navigate to find the settings and whatnot. Although, it's like most new cars, there's going to be a learning curve as you figure out what all the different things do. But that power, though, all right. That was from way too fast to even much, much faster than that in 24 seconds. This is a great car. So I want to talk about value. Is this car a good value? That's probably what you really want to know. And should you buy one to do rideshare with? Well, as far as value goes, the one I have, the one that I'm driving, is priced over $60,000. Now, you do get a $7,500 tax credit for now. And there might be other incentives. So that brings it down to like 50 grand if you collect the full incentive. And you're also getting a car that's probably going to be very well built and it's going to last you a long time. And you can take it to your Volvo dealer to get service. So that's nice. So, I mean, it's not a terrible investment, but it is a premium car. Even the cheapest model is you're still going to spend $50,000 before you take that car home. So it's about the same price as a Tesla. I think it's very comparable to a Tesla. The only limitations are the range, of course, and it doesn't have access to the Tesla supercharger network. And there's some other little detail things that a Tesla owner might appreciate. And there's a few things, like some flimsy interior pieces and some problems with the touchscreen system, with the entertainment system. But all in all, I think it's a really good car, and I think it's a good value for the money. However, I wouldn't make an investment in something like this just for rideshare work. If you're looking for a really nice car that you can also do rideshare with, this is not a bad choice at all. Nice car. All right, well, wrapping up, I just really enjoyed driving this car. Thank you, Teresa, for letting me drive it. And I think my passengers enjoyed it, and I enjoyed reviewing it. Make sure you subscribe, and make sure you post in the comments below how much you hated this video and how much you hate me. No, I'm kidding. Post down below how much you like this video, and if you have any questions or to keep the discussion going, just post down below, or come on over to RideShareGuy.com, theRideShareGuy.com, and read the full text story for more details.